Right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We have the 4-2-2 custom tactic formation guide this weekend. We will be using it in FUT Champs. Hopefully we can get one of our first elite finishes. My team is looking pretty good. I will be getting Rashford in here and Ariola in here, and this will be basically how the team sets up. So the chemistry on this will be obviously fixed. So that being said, let's get into the custom tactics of the 4-2-2. It's a formation that I haven't really liked a lot this year. I haven't really done a lot of testing with it up until this week, and a lot in the past 48 hours. I've really gone hard testing out this formation, making sure that everything about this formation is dialed into what we want this formation to do and what we want our specific players to do. So before we get into this, actually, I'm going to tell you the personnel that you're really going to need in order to get this formation to work. I have Goretzka and Essien as my two DMs. Obviously, if you look into their stats, Goretzka has extremely high interceptions, and Essien does as well, both 99 and 94. 99 if I put a defensive chem style on Goretzka, but you need good defensive players in this formation because of how the tactics are going to be set up, and you need pacey players in the back. Obviously, the lowest pace in my entire back line is 90 pace with LaCroix, and he's a center back, so that's very, very high pace for a center back. Going into the custom tactic aspects, that's all we basically need for personnel for this. We want the defensive style to be balanced. We don't really want to do too much because with this formation, with a free-flowing formation such as the 4-2-2, your players can tend to get a little bit tired with the instructions that we have set. So we don't really want to do pressure after possession loss around heavy touch. We don't want to do that. We just want to set the balance. We don't want to do too much of one thing or the other. We want to keep it really, really well-rounded. Defensive width. The meta this year is basically keeping everything narrow and compact, so we don't want to get too crazy with this. Depth, we do in this formation want to push slightly higher up the pitch, so that is going to be reflected in the defensive depth of this formation guide. 5 to 6, maybe even 7, depending on the pace of your back line, could be good. Obviously, you want to push this up as high as you can stand really in game, because during team of the season, a lot of people are going to have a lot of pacey 99 pace wingers and center backs, or wingers and strikers, sorry. So you really want to push it up as high as possible without conceding in too many goals behind, because a lot of people during FUT Champs will sit back 8 to 9 men behind the ball and just spam a triangle through ball and break the lines. So we want to keep this. This will be something that you have to try. Anywhere between 5 to 7 depth is ideal. I go with 6 myself. And that's good for the defensive tactics of this formation. Onto the offensive, fast build-up is what I found to be the best. It gets the players in the formation moving around the most. The DMs linking with the cams linking with the strikers, and even the strikers being able to link with the cams. The fast build-up does tend to push the center defensive mids up the pitch just a little bit more. So if you do have a straight down the middle of the pitch through ball, it doesn't require that high a passing with your defensive mids to be able to play that line-breaking pass to your strikers. Width, we want to keep it fairly neutral. This is something that you have to test out as well, along with the defensive depth. I noticed with the width, with certain attacking midfielders, some of them kind of ghost a little bit if you go too wide. So if you feel like you have attacking midfielders that tend to ghost a little bit, try and narrow that up. But you don't want to go too narrow with it because it can get awful congested with 6 players basically in a defense and 6 players in attack on any given possession. So you want to keep this as wide as possible without ghosting out your left cam and right cam. It's something, like I said, it's something you'll have to experiment with. Players in box, again, all personal. These for me are all personal. I know a lot of formation guides will tell you, do certain things, whatever. This to me is personal. I don't like getting counterattacks, so I tend to keep my corners, free kicks, and players in box lower, just to avoid senseless goals in order to win as many FUT Champs games as possible. Is the biggest thing in Weekend League is to avoid conceding senseless goals, which is a lot of people's struggles. So, into the instructions you can see in the formation here, Goretzka, Essien are 2 DMs, Bruno and Insigne, the 2 better passers, I would say, and then the 2 better finishers up front, fastest and best finishers up front. Going into the instructions, we'll start with our goalkeeper. A lot of people overlook the goalkeeper tactics. We want comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. This basically means that if you've got a taller goalkeeper or someone who's got good handling and good pace like Ederson does, fits that perfectly, he will come out and be able to get the ball off the feet of attackers and be able to come out for crosses on corners. So we set that both to come for crosses and sweeper keeper. Center backs both default. Fullbacks stay back while attacking, conservative interceptions, and overlap set for both of them. Like I mentioned earlier, the fullbacks and the attackers in Team of the Season will all have 99 pace and really, really good agility. So they will be able to smoke any fullbacks that are out of position. Work rates are important with these. You want to have at least mid-defensive work rate for your fullbacks, and set them both to stay back while attacking, trigger their runs using L1 and aiming in their direction. It sends them running in, basically towards the goal, wherever they are on the pitch. Going into the defensive midfielders, we want them to cut passing lanes and cover center. Normal interceptions for them because I don't want to get too aggressive. The thing is with these, you don't want to get too aggressive because they are the last players shielding the back line. So you like I said, with the personnel, you want to have two DMs that are very, very high, that have very, very high interceptions and defensive stats, as well as the pace. So Shadow on SCN makes him basically 99 in defense and pace, so it works out perfectly. Stay back while attacking. With the custom tactics that we have, with the fast build-up, he will tend to get forward anyways. Both your DMs will tend to get forward anyways, so it's really not going to make too much of a difference. But you do want them to kind of be a little bit more defensive in a sense, so that way you don't get counterattacked, because it's a formation that it exposes the middle of the pitch and you can get counterattacked relatively easily. Cover center because obviously you don't want them to be covering the fullbacks, you want them to be shielding the center backs. And normal interceptions, like I said, cut passing lanes for the interceptions. Moving on to both your cams, come back on defense, balance crossing runs. People... I've seen a lot of tactic reviews that do get in a box for cross. I don't think it's necessary personally because I think it exposes the wings and allows the opponent to get up the pitch as quickly as possible or as far as possible without being met by a defender. So I personally like to keep this to balanced crossing runs. Free roam for me because there's no cut inside instruction. There's only the drift wide, but we want them to be able to cut inside. So that way they can kind of feel it almost be like a 4-3-3 at times where, say, for example, Bruno cuts inside, Mbappe will go out to the left, Mertens drops in the center, and Insigne can wrap around as a right winger. It can almost drop as like a 4-3-3 at times, and Insigne obviously vice versa on that side. So come back in defense just for that little bit of linkage between the, I don't even know if linkage is a word, but the link between your DMs and attacking midfielders. Aggressive interceptions because I do like to press personally. If you feel like they're overcommitting, drop it back to normal interceptions. A lot of these tactic reviews that I do will have a lot of personal touches to them, a lot of personal aspects. Free roam, like I said, for that reason to play the interchangeability. And that is it for the attacking midfielders. We want to set him too aggressive. That is it for the attacking midfield. On to the attackers. There's two different ways to play this. You can have them both getting forward and have them both be getting behind strikers. But for me personally, I feel that it's better and more efficient attacking-wise to have the better passer as a false 9. So he drops a little bit and be an outlet to the DMs. On the counterattack, he can kind of drop a little bit deeper and receive the ball. Stay central for both of the attackers. The better pass, like I said, false 9. Aggressive interceptions on both of them. Come back in defense. It's not a defensive tactic. It just seems to help you link them a little bit better with the when you are moving from defense to offense. I feel like when you have them set to basic defensive support, they kind of are eliminated from any kind of counterattack. Or any kind of build-up play that you may have because they're just staying on the defensive line, and it really does you no good. So you want them to come back in defense. It's not a defensive tactic, like I said. It's just to help link up the team. And then Kylian Mbappe is our get-in-behind striker. He is going to be the one that we just want bombing in nonstop. Get in behind, aggressive interception, stay central, come back on defense for the same reason as I just mentioned. And as opposed to Mertens is going to be the false 9, we want Mbappe, who's our pacier. And just all-out bomb forward striker. Get in behind, stay central, because we have Bruno and Insigne, your two wide cams, occupying the wide areas of the pitch. Guys, that is it for the 4-2-2. The pattern of play will basically vary from person to person. You can play it exactly as the shape is, but you can also have the 4-3-3 tactic almost in a sense where you'll have Bruno or Insigne cut inside. It all depends on how you play in-game. You want to play it almost like the little triangles where you have, like, say, Goretzka, Bruno, Mbappe, or Essien, Insigne, Mertens. You can almost do there's little triangles throughout the pitch. I always like to play in the triangles because I feel like it's the most efficient way to score goals and to break down opponents. This is a very, very good formation for breaking down 5 at the back, and it is especially good at countering the 4-1-2-1-2. Whenever someone plays the 4-2-2 against me, I play the 4-1-2-1-2 and 4-3-1-2. This formation tears me apart. I have nothing but problems playing against it. So, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button on the video to help it out and get on the recommended page for other viewers. And subscribe to the channel. We are nearing 400 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. And let me know in the comment section if you use the 4-2-2 and how this varies from how you set up, and let me know if this formation works for you. Guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace, fellas.